New research that says belly fat may be a better predictor of your heart disease risk than your BMI or body mass index alone. BMI is the number commonly used to assess if you're at a healthy weight, but this new study says it could be missing some key information. Joining me now is Dr. Jessica Shepard, Chief Medical Officer at HERS, gynecologist and women's health specialist. Dr. Shepard, it's always great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us. So let's jump right into this study and tell us what it found.
The study was actually done very well in the sense of how many people they looked at. They looked at 259,000 adults and over a long time, so over 20 years. And exactly like you said, what they were able to look at is BMI as a health predictor indicator, looking at abdominal fat. And what they found is that the measurement of abdominal fat in two different ways, waist circumference and then also waist to hip ratio, predicted cardiovascular risk better than just BMI alone.
And people can actually check these measurements at home on their own. How do they go about doing that?
Yeah, well, BMI actually can be checked as well. But what we did see is when BMI was actually done, it was done in the early 1900s, and it really was never intended as a measurement of health. So now with these new measurements, we can actually look at how abdominal fat gives you that risk or finding ways to decrease that risk. So how you can do that at home is actually by doing your waist circumference. And you're going to go again at the level of your belly button using for your waist, and then looking at men versus women. And if you are greater than 35 inches for women or greater than 45 inches for men, this is where we start to look at what can this look at for my health risk and the increase for cardiovascular disease.
And if someone finds that their numbers are high, what do you recommend?
Oh, this is where, I come in as a physician. This is where we want patients to be proactive and going to their doctor and saying, hey, this is what I found on a measurement. Let's have a discussion about that. How risky is this for my cardiovascular health? And what can I do in order to decrease my risk for cardiovascular disease? Because when we look at disease and risk, cardiovascular death is still the #1 cause of death for both men and women.
And besides these metrics here, what other measures of health can viewers monitor to reduce their overall cardiovascular risk?
Yeah, I think we've come a long way in medicine and looking at not only a measurement and numbers, but we can also look at other things for an individual to see their individual risk, such as blood pressure, looking at a variety of different numbers, systolic and diastolic over a time, and then also looking at hemoglobin A1C, which is really our metabolic function of how we're doing internally with glucose management. And that looks at it for 3 months prior, cholesterol levels. And then we have some other cardiovascular labs that we are using for actual biomarkers for your risk, whether that's based on genetics or your actual cholesterol levels, what that means for your actual vessels. So these are all great things that we can use as physicians, but more importantly for people who are watching to say, I can do something at home with a measurement. From the measurement, now what do I do with that with my physician?
Exactly. Important information and very interesting new study. Dr. Shepard, thank you for your time.
Thank you.